Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Trader. Where last time we finished up on Yanis having defeated the governor, Viat, and we decided that we were going to pass control over the world to the, it wasn't the Adeptus Mechanicus, was it? I think it was, but like a sub-branch of them. The Biologus, or something like that. And thinking, you know, they should be able to take care of the planet and get the best efficiency or out of, you know, all the farming we want to do there. So that's what we decided to do, and we're here on the ship and we're going around talking to everybody. We just had a conversation with Argenta, so let's go ahead and see if Abelard has anything new.
Lord Captain.
I have discovered that there are caches left by Theodora somewhere on Darganas and Kiavagama. Do you know anything about this?
It is wise for a rogue trader to have caches where they can safely store important information. And utterly unwise to share the coordinates of such caches with anyone. Even one's most trusted associates.
I feel like that's short-sighted wisdom. Because, like, if nobody else knows, then, you know, that's kind of... I guess she did leave clues for us, right? Kind of.
I'm afraid I do not know how to find the caches, but I can offer some help. Your predecessor used this numeric code to deactivate certain defense systems in her service. If I know Lady Theodora as well as I think, then I'm quite certain that she left her caches well guarded. In that case, this code will be useful to you.
A code, you say? He holds out the data slate to you. Oh, well, thank you. I guess.
You have my complete attention.
I want to discuss the Cult of the Final Dawn. What can you tell me about it? I am bored of your Liet. I would like to hand the Xenos over to the Inquisition. My goodness. Let's discuss the Cult of the Final Dawn.
The cult's ordinary members are humans who have been corrupted by the archenemy, traitors to the Imperium, and accomplices of chaos. Participation in the cult's rituals always entails brainwashing, literally and figuratively. The longer cult members spend among other cultists, the less critically they think, and the more closely they resemble obedient livestock, stripped of their fear and instinct for self-preservation. The worst of them go to their deaths without an inkling of doubt, ready to take hundreds and thousands of souls with them. As for those at the top of the cult's hierarchy, we have not yet managed to get a lead on all of the cult's leaders. I imagine that some of them are hiding in the depths of the Coronis Expanse, but those who are orchestrating the fanatics on nearby worlds are hiding very well indeed, or receiving protection from above.
Remind me, what is your mission regarding the cult? What do you mean, protection from above? You seem to have been investigating this cult for some time. What is your mission regarding the cult?
I need to confirm the reports from my agents. According to them, one of the cult's leaders is in the Kiava Gamma segment, an industrial world within the dominion of the Von Phalancius dynasty. I hope you won't impede my investigation.
Of course I won't. Probably. What do you mean, protection from above?
Governors, commanders, rogue traders. History is full of those who neglect their duty to the Golden Throne and seek allies in the wrong places.
Yeah, I guess we just saw that firsthand with Governor Viat, huh? You seem to have been investigating this cult for some time.
We discovered the first traces of it as soon as we arrived in the Coronis Expanse. Since then, the more we learn, the better we see just how far the roots of this blight extend. Destroying individual cells is pointless. We must cut this beast off at its head.
Let's talk about something else.
As you wish.
That's it. Alright, next up, we forgot to talk to the helmsman. You have anything new? No. I guess we have Yurliet here. Let's go ahead and talk to her. Is that Pascal? No, that's IH630. Yurliet stands out from her surroundings like a Yanusian jungle tree in a garden of manicured topiary. I don't know. Unsettling beauty and alluring otherness. In her posture, her gestures, her piercing stare radiate from the Eldari. Footfall is abuzz with rumors about Xenos ravaging the sector. Do you think it could be your kin from Krudarak? Allow me to ask you a few personal questions. Tell me about your kin in your home world. Am I still unworthy of discussing your world and your kin? That seems... Did we know that already? What do you think is happening on Yanis right now? Why did you agree to join me? Is it not strange for an Eldari to follow a human? Leave my void ship and my retinue for good. I must take my leave. Let's ask the first question here about Footfall.
Is that snake venom seeping from your lips? We, the children of Azurian, are no strangers to the art of war.
Azurian.
We are not raiders, or butchers, or least of all, fools. When a craft world is beset by calamity, its inhabitants do not start a war with every monkey in the sector. If you are looking for enemies, look for them elsewhere.
Hey, it was just an honest question. Okay. What happened to your homeworld?
It is a mystery as inscrutable as the sigh of the last immortal. As deep as the waters of a dark ocean. And I can tell you little, for I was far away, on a mission with my unit. We returned at the appointed hour, but we did not find Krudarak in its celestial harbor. It happened many turns ago. Or standard years, as you say. But I remember that moment as if it happened this very day. The memory of a loss is always stronger than the memory of a gain. Especially when you lose something as significant as a home. Or an entire world. We searched. We called out. We looked everywhere. But we saw only emptiness. And the echo of calamity. Countless days passed before I found myself on the Lilithon and met some of my kin. Those refugees who had barely managed to reach our ancestral planet. Their stories were far from being the fruit of truth I so badly craved. Those who agreed to talk to me were few. For most saw me as a wayward daughter who had spurned the honorable paths. And they would not stop babbling about a terrible disease that spread black tendrils of pain over the paths of the Infinity Circuit and deadened our world one segment after another. The ones who survived fled in fear and wandered between the stars until the Lilithon's warm light reached out to some of them.
The crystalline psychoactive matrix that supplies a well of psychic power to an Eldari craft world and provides a massive ancestral mind to advise and guide the Eldari. I don't know. Who draw within it? Okay, so it's like it kind of reminds me of like an elder brain kind of thing, but probably not like that at all. Maybe, who knows?
Some, like Muaran, lay the blame entirely on Monkey. However, I do not know the truth, but I hope, I desperately hope and pray to the gods that someday it will be revealed to me.
What is an infinity circuit?
Is idle curiosity a defining feature of the Monkey?
Yes.
Or are you trying to learn about the weaknesses of my people so you can destroy another world of the children of Azurian? Forgive me, Elentark, but I am not ready to immerse you in the font of my people's deepest mysteries.
Okay. All Eldari carry these crystals, spirit stones. I want to know what they are.
You are talking about something you cannot comprehend, Elentark. Waystones are not mere trinkets worn by my people. They are something greater. From birth and to the last breath, the Spirit Stone belongs only to its owner, serving as an ever-present reminder that we are mortal. For it is the first refuge of the mind and the last refuge of the soul, which Cylon Thresh is so eager to devour.
Earliette closes her eyes, and her hand inexorably reaches for the red crystal on her breast.
The souls of the children of Asurion move into the stones after death, and then they become a part of the Infinity Circuit on a craft world, so they can serve their people even when the body is gone. There is no crime more despicable than harming a Waystone and dooming the immortal soul of a child of Asurion to an eternity of torment in the maw of she who thirsts.
Okay, so don't mess with her crystal, huh?
We need Waystones as desperately as darkness needs starlight, and Monkey need air. And so we are bound to wander the galaxy in search of the old worlds that might give another craft world hope for existence. Each monkey's heart is one of your lives. Each Waystone is the preserved soul of a child of Asurion.
Okay, those sound pretty important. What was your world like before it fell?
Cruderach cannot be described in your language. It can only be sung, encased in a filigree of sounds, a melody as complex and delicate as the Infinity Circuit, its energy network. It can be seen in the golden hues of sunlight, felt in the breath of celestial winds. Though it was an artificial world, it was just as alive as any real planet.
An artificial world?
But I must see clearly. Not only light, but also shadows. I yearn to remember only Cruderach's beauty, but it had a dark side too. My world was isolated for too long. Like a lake of stagnant water, there was no movement or renewal, and even the sweetest outbursts of life soon turned fetid. Who knows? Who knows? Had there been no stagnation, had our elders not been so blind in their dogmatism and our youths not lacking in courage, then perhaps Cruderach would still be alive even now?
How do your craft worlds even work?
Is idle curiosity a defining feature of the monkey? Or are you trying to learn about the weaknesses of my people so you can destroy another world of the children of Asurion? Forgive me, Elentark, but I am not ready to immerse you in the font of my people's deepest mysteries.
What can you tell me about the history of the Eldari?
I am afraid your life is too fleeting and your memory too feeble to encompass the entirety of my knowledge. My people ruled the stars when yours did not even have a name. But many of our songs and stories were lost, stolen by she who thirsts. I can tell you the children of Asurion lived, created, caressed the stars as if they were pearls on a string, until Cylon Thresh smothered our empire in her terrifying embrace.
Not gonna lie, Cylon Thresh sounds like a badass name. I'm just saying.
Different branches of the Eldari chose different paths to salvation. My ancestors chose an eternal journey through the starry void, living on craft worlds instead of real planets. We rescued countless wonders from the days before, but far from all. You saw this on the Lilithan. Not even we can always master the gates our ancient ones built. This is the story of the Asuriani. There are branches that chose a different path, gruesome and frightening. But I do not wish to tell you about them. That is our dark side, just as your kin have many dark sides of their own.
I saw the comment about nobody talking about the big portal gate. At the, what was his name? Maumar? Whatever his name was. That fight. I'm guessing that's what she's mentioning here. Where was it? You saw, not even we can always master the gates our ancient ones built. So it was a gate, but I wonder where it was a gate to. What was he trying to do? You keep mentioning She Who Thirsts. What can you tell me about her?
Why ask this question?
Oops, sorry.
Is it idle curiosity?
Yes.
Or something else? Do not turn your thoughts towards Cylon Thresh. Whatever your motive. She is downfall. She is hunger. She is the enemy of all that is good in the universe. She is an enemy to the Eldari. And I hope to you as well.
Eliette stresses the last words, looking at you inquisitively. Yeah, of course she is. The Chaos Gods are the enemies of the Imperium, which means they are my enemies. You can be assured of that. There's nothing wrong with curiosity, idle or not. Knowledge is always a boon, including knowledge of one's enemies. This is my ship, which means I can question whoever I want, however I like. Say nothing. Yeah, if they're an enemy of the Imperium, they're an enemy of me.
We are as different as starlight and its reflection in a muddy puddle. But we share a common enemy. Constancy is our strength.
I've learned what I wanted to know. You have my gratitude.
As you wish, Elontark.
Oh my god, and that was just the first that was just the first one. Can I ask you a few personal questions?
What do you wish to talk about?
Remind me again, how did you come to be on Yanis?
The children of Asurion sought shelter on the Lilithon after the demise of our craft world, our Kruderak. I arrived later, looking for traces of my kin and hoping to learn the fate of my world. They witnessed the baneful ignorance of your breed and began to weave a web of their own intrigues in which I played the role of Vistensa Viat's aide. And then you appeared.
Tell me about yourself. Who were you before you came to Yanis?
I followed my path. Do you know what a path is to the children of Asurion? It is more than a chosen, what do you call it, craft. The path is how each of us moves through the labyrinth of existence, inside and out, in life and in spirit. It is both a journey and a fortress. It protects us from She Who Thirsts. To stray from the path is to fall into her dark embrace. The first path I walked was the path of awakening. It granted me the ability not merely to look, but to see, and to take notice of what I saw. My second path could have been that of a warrior, but I chose differently. For the ability to see called me beyond the boundaries of my homeworld. Though not everyone was pleased by this decision, I stepped onto the path of the outcast. I gained the freedom to choose, to question, to doubt where the others merely bow before the wisdom of a Farseer who dictates the will of destiny. And I will follow my path until I reach its pinnacle.
So she got Awakening, Warrior. Oh, no. She got Awakening and Outcast. She could have been a warrior. Wonder how often they can change their path. What is it like for you being on my ship?
It feels like I am in the belly of a bird with steel wings. Cold and unliving, but stubbornly blazing through the dark. It lacks life with its light and beauty, but although your vessel cannot even remotely be compared to a craft world, I feel strangely satisfied. We, the Asuriani, are born and dwell on craft worlds. To find myself on a moving world again, even one such as yours, is a source of much joy.
So craft worlds are like great space stations or something like that? Maybe? Or just a ship? Like planet-sized stations? Are they planet-sized? Like, kind of... I'm getting the sense they are. Interesting. Okay. And did she not have like her own little ship when she went wandering? Or are their ships just like super different from what we're currently on? Or is it just the size of the ship that's reminding her of a craft world?
The words of truth sound like music. This is what our people say.
Tell me about you, Ken.
I refuse to discuss this with a monkey. We are but traveling companions who happen to be following the same road among the stars. Do not even try to get under my skin. It will not work.
Oh, I think it will. I am the main character, so you will eventually spill all your secrets to me, if I so choose to want them. Am I still unworthy? Yeah, she nods. What do you think is happening on Yanis right now?
The Lilithon is purifying herself of the corruption brought by the servants of Cylon Thrash. Gardens and birds, animals and people. Many are gone forever, and even more are corrupted beyond healing. But the Lilithon is stronger. This world will live. My kin are probably still looking for a means to enter the webway.
The webway.
May the Lilithon spirit aid them in this endeavor. Beyond the gate lies salvation, and perhaps even knowledge about the fate of Kruderok and the remaining survivors.
I think we heard mention of the webway before. An extra-dimensional space, also known as the Labyrinth Dimension, which links worlds, sectors, and stars from one end of the galaxy to another. So that's what they're trying to get into. Okay. Why did you agree to join me?
The outcasts my path led me to had a saying. Let me translate it for you. If you fall off a cliff, grab the roots and do not ask if they belong to a weed or a noble rosebush. You are the root I grabbed, Ilantak. Because I fell off a cliff. My homeworld is gone. My kin are either dead or hiding no one knows where. By joining forces with you, I may be able to nurture a seedling of the truth I so deeply yearn for.
But am I a weed or am I a rose? That's the real question. Alright. Really interesting getting to learn about the Xenos lore and things like that. I like it. Jay, what's going on?
May the Exalted One protect you. Have you grown bored with our little talk, Shireen?
Have I never talked to her? Oh wow, I must really not like her. I will help you acquire... You don't look like a typical smuggler.
No truer words have ever been said. I'm far more exciting than some small-time peddlers from Footfall. Allow me to introduce myself properly. I am Jai Amira Fatqin Tamiri Ash Ifrit, the 12th daughter of the Lord of Ifrit, a distant world at the fringes of the Imperium. The youngest child is destined to become a bargaining chip in the family's political games. But I was unwilling to accept such a fate, and wanted to choose what to become and which path to follow. When I learned the Exalted One watches over hundreds of other worlds amidst distant stars, I understood there was an entire world of opportunities beyond Ifrit. All I had to do was break the familial bonds tying me down and escape the planet. Which I did a long time ago.
Why did you choose to come to the Coronis Expanse?
The Coronis Expanse. A gorgeous name, isn't it? But this backwater wasn't my original destination when I escaped, Shireen. Oh no, it was the rumors of incredible freedom that brought me to the Coronis Expanse. Freedom that is generously bestowed upon everyone who can survive in these parts. All doors are open here. You can become a saint, a mogul, a kingmaker, or anyone you like, really.
Kingmaker.
Here, hard work pays off. Unless you're used to lying by the roadside and complaining instead of toiling for the good of your soul, glory, wallet, or whatever floats your boat. I'm used to working hard, and so I found my blessing.
How did you escape from Ifrit?
I convinced my father I personally wished to oversee the inspection of imported goods. I had to get experience so I wouldn't bring shame on our family, didn't I?
You sure did.
I made friends with traders, missionaries, and soldiers at the port. I listened to their stories, studied the charts, learned what documents I had to forge to escape the planet. A kind word here, a shiny coin there. And here I am, in the iron belly of a ship, braving the void in search of a new life.
Judging by your implants, you've had quite a few close shaves over the years.
Consider it a mark of my trade. This here, Xenos. Dumb-headed orcs. Who knew that we weren't the only ones to get tempted by the wreck of that raider? As for this treasure, I received it as a reward for a life that had been just a little too good. I was in a hurry to get to the Adeptus Amacacus after the Exalted One blessed me with immense wealth. I was 2 backstreets away from the den when a pathetic ashmag attacked me, envious of somebody else's fortune.
She drags her thumb across her throat. You're familiar with implants like the one that has replaced Jay's neck. It is merely one part of a massive augmentation replacing the internal organs. A slit throat could not have been the cause for installing such a sophisticated device. Ah, secrets. Thank you for your sharing.
All relationships are based on mutual trust. That goes for business too.
Of course. Tell me about your background again.
The youngest child is destined to become a...
I was just getting rid of that.
All relationships are based on mutual trust. That goes for business too.
I have seen enough of the shiny wrapping of the Coronis Expanse. Tell me about its dark side.
The dark side is the real Coronis Expanse, if you ask me. But what do you want to know about it, Shireen?
How do they do things on Footfall?
Dynasty heirs drink with criminals. Rogue traders strike deals with the Casbalica. And dozens of ships stop off for a welcome break from a long voyage. Is there a more beautiful place in the entire Imperium? The Emperor is merciful to the meek and the powerful alike. There's a job for everyone as long as they have a head on their shoulders. And if you feel like talking to him in person, the statue of the Exalted One can be seen from any asteroid. You can pray to your heart's content.
Sounds like heaven. Tell me about the Casablanca mission.
An ancient crime cartel that originated with the first settlers of the Calixis sector. It is run by shadowy clans with robber barons at the helm. Cross their path, and you risk making enemies all over the Coronis Expanse, or even the entire Imperium. As for the agents, they are just shameless, greedy scum. Every third person on Footfall is a Casbalican. But that doesn't mean all that rotten filth is acting together. I've been set up more than once just so some Casbalican can get one over on his rivals. And yet, the Casbalica is generous to its customers, if you can afford it. Anything can be obtained, organized, and transported for the right price. The customer is always right, unless they happen to be a rat. In which case...
Jay sighs and throws up her hands. Scum, rotten filth, rats. It is almost as if Jay's mask briefly slipped and she started using words that have no place in the vocabulary of someone from the upper strata of the Imperium. Are you one of the Casbalica's robber barons?
What gave you such an outrageous idea? Was it my immaculate garment? My gorgeous jewelry? Do not worry, Shireen. I will let you know once I become a baroness, should the Exalted One will it. Just imagine the strong and fruitful alliance that could be forged between a rogue trader and the mastermind of the Casbalica.
How did you become an agent?
It's not hard to do on Footfall. I spent a year working for good old Christo. He was a brave soldier who gave up the ghost in a scuffle with orcs, and then took over his business. Having a good head on your shoulders and keeping the Exalted One in your heart helps to establish new contacts quickly. Eventually, I gathered together a group of honest and loyal people, and it only took a few successful contracts for the Casbalica to take notice. I quickly settled on Footfall and started dispensing my wisdom to my protégés and subordinates. I lost the taste for getting my hands dirty.
I just don't think nothing she's saying is making Imogen be like, I like you. I think she's pretty cool. But
it really is simple, Shireen. The Casbalica runs the Imperium's black market, offering special goods to those who can afford their services. Yes, I am talking about Xeno artifacts too. Alien weapons, technology, sometimes even certain kinds of living creatures. Unlike the rogue traders whose sacred warrants make them immune even from the laws of the Exalted One, Kasbalican agents are used to hiding and covering their tracks. Nobody wants to draw unwanted attention, no matter who might take an interest. Especially now that the Coronis Expanse has a warrior of the Golden Throne as its watchman.
A warrior of the Golden Throne as its watchman.
Why not? The decision is yours, Shireen.
You're telling me tales about your colorful past, Jay, but I feel not all of these stories are true.
Listen, Shireen, the giver of happiness and the dearest of my friends. I am who I am. A cold trader, a Kasbalican agent, and your partner. We each have a past, and that past is sealed. I'm not prying into your soul, am I? Well, have pity on mine. It has already been gnawed at by the Aji. And if you don't like the sound of that, we'll just go our separate ways. Deal?
Fair enough.
All relationships are based on mutual trust. That goes for business too.
Tell me about your business in the Coronis Expanse.
My trade means knowing the right people and non-people, having the right connections, and making sure the precious goods find their way into the hands of my no less precious customers. My wisdom includes the knowledge of the enemies of humankind, be they Xenos or the lowest scum of the Imperium, as well as the latest knowledge about how they charge for any particular curio at the footfall market. Not even the most cunning Aji will deceive you as long as I am with you, Shireen. I promise you that. Whatever I have can be yours too. If your unfathomable wealth isn't enough for you already, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I do like my wealth. I don't even have to count my coins. People want to trade with me. Even though I was saying that Imogene doesn't like her, she kind of does make a point here that she is useful, right? Her knowledge of like the underworld and things like that would be useful to have, even if you know, it's a little too dirty for Imogene. Do you do business with the enemies of humanity? I mean, she's a coal trader, so yes.
It has been known to happen. After years of dealing with Xenos, I've learned their customs and even got a grasp of their language. Except they cringe whenever I start speaking. Arrogant sods. They dislike even our voices, but they never turn away our valuables. Then again, I'm used to seeing sour faces. In this trade, the easily offended go out of business.
Perhaps your knowledge will serve the Von Valancia's protectorate. Say what you want, but consorting with Xenos' betrayal of the Imperiums. The things we do for profit and gain, right? No, I think... Yeah, I said it in the last choice that I think we do value her knowledge, even if we don't necessarily agree with her.
I have no doubt you will have to deal with Xenos sooner or later. When that time comes, Shireen, you will thank the Exalted One for sending me to stand at your side.
Kind of wish I had her with me when we met early at. You have many talents.
Thank you, Shireen. Being able to read and write is chief among them. You may not be aware, but this science is beyond the abilities of billions of the Imperium subjects. And yet they happily keep drudging along in their factories, fundy, and assembly lines. Me? I didn't escape Ifrit to consign myself to such misery. It was literacy that paved my path to copied orders, forged signatures, counterfeited papers. The wonderful things that make the wheels of bureaucracy turn in the right direction.
Are you really that rich?
Compared to the rabble on footfall, perhaps. Compared to you. Be it power or money, I still have a long way to go. I could purchase one of Footfall's asteroids, but not a planet. I could subjugate a few gangs from the shady districts, but not Vladium. And so the answer to your question is no. I do not consider myself rich. I am not rich enough.
Could always have more. You could be sitting back reaping the fruits of your own work. So why have you chosen to embrace the vicissitudes of life aboard a void ship?
You're fun to talk. I grew tired of scribing endless contracts and agreements neatly tucked away on footfall. I did that for how many years? But here, among the stars, you are always balanced on a knife edge. Nothing thrills me more than the tension of a warp jump, or the danger that lurks around every corner on a planet. Footfall was beginning to make me fat and stupid, Shireen. I do not want that.
I don't necessarily think our situations are one-to-one. I think they could be, but currently we have that traitor Whiteveer still out there. And we don't... Well, at least I don't think he's going to be one to just, you know, leave us alone for the rest of our life. Jay speaks measuredly, with just the right amount of laziness in her voice, but her performance cannot conceal the slight tremble in her voice. Whatever Jay is afraid of, that is what drove her off Footfall. What about your gang that stayed back on Footfall? Do you trust them?
Do I trust the Trickster twins? By the Exalted One, no. The underhanded rogues of Footfall came up with that name for a reason. The tricks of those frenzied ashmags are all about things far more intriguing than the honest and law-abiding subjects of the Imperium can imagine.
The mention of her fellow cold traders makes Jay's eyes shine a bit brighter than usual.
On the other hand, this is why I am keeping them close. Kor and Tora know who lifted them out of the cesspit proudly called the Shadow Quarters, and who has been feeding that ravenous beast their insatiable lust for lucre. No, they are not going to betray me if only because they know I am now a part of your entourage, Shireen. They're not going to let the biggest pie in the Imperium pass them by without trying to get a slice for themselves.
Is that what you're doing? Getting a slice of the pie? Tell me about the Xenos of the Coronis Expanse.
Vicious, cruel, dangerous beasts. Humans hold little interest for Xenos. We are entertainment for them, a means to keep boredom at bay. A commodity. But some of them contact us once in a while using their own people. Do not deceive yourself by thinking you are safe because there are no Xenos inside. Those Agi are as cunning as they are ruthless. They cleverly pull at the strings of spies and traitors, subjugate those who do not fall for the promised reward, transform the ones who resist their promises into soulless puppets. The Emperor watches over me, and that is why I still haven't succumbed to the fate of many of my associates who have lost their lives to the stringy scoundrels.
All praise the Emperor. Talk about something else.
I think we've said all there is to say on this topic.
Did you know Theodora von Valancius, my predecessor?
It is difficult not to be aware of the powers that be, especially ones like Lord Captain Theodora. But we never met personally, as the difference between our positions was far too great. Theodora was a mighty ruler, the center of her own universe, and I, a pathetic commoner, was nothing next to her. But you were kind to me, Shireen, and in my eyes that put you above your esteemed aunt, or whoever she was to you.
Never mind, Imogene immediately likes her. She's the first person who's like, I mean, not in a direct way, but has kind of alluded to me being a better rogue trader. You know, obviously it's pretty much self-interest on her part, but you know, I'll take it. You must forgive my prying, but has the esteemed princess's heart been claimed by some lucky fellow? No, we're not going to go down that route. Argenta seems to have gotten under your skin. Am I right?
Argenta? What could be more beautiful than the sight of a sister of battle, whose mere presence casts light in the dark corners of lost souls such as mine? But alas, what remains of my sanity is telling me that poor Jai can only admire the radiance of this angel, forsaking any hope of ever touching her wings.
You keep using words I don't understand, like calling me Shireen.
The language on Ifrit, my home world, is quite different from the one spoken in the Coronis Expanse. We bestow more than one meaning upon each word, allowing our wise men to fully express their sagacious thoughts, and us lowly commoners our base passions and desires. Take Agi, for example. That is what I call every piece of scum and villain, because Agi means evil and foe and pathetic worm unworthy of consideration. Or take Ashmag. It means fool and little brother, and blind man who stumbled and would fall into a pit without guidance. Shireen means friend and comrade and roommate in a battle formation, like we are.
Awesome. I like getting those little words that aren't really part of the language, but are part of her language. That's cool. I'll see you later.
Oh, I have no doubt you will.
Alright, I'm glad that... I can't believe I forgot to talk to her when we got her. I don't usually do that. Forget that kind of thing. Pascal?
The Omniscient knows all, comprehends all.
Strange messages have been appearing in the ship's log. What do you know about this error?
This statement is true. Algorithmic violations have been recorded, as a result of which I twice performed an offering to the cogitators of corrective data vows and ruled out the possibility of sabotage. I hypothesize that the violation is a consequence of the discontent of the ship's machine spirits. I recommend a procedure application of the honored spirits for the glory of the Omniscient and the steel angels sent by him.
Alright, procedure application begin.
May your labors...
Alright, I think that's everything, unless Abel wants to talk. I doubt it, though. Activate control panel down there. What's that do? Hey, Abel. Oh, okay. Fuel system analysis in progress. Status diagnosing. Result, no failures. Okay, that's good. Oh, what's going on? Love this guy's coming over here and throwing some incense at it. That's the good stuff. I'm a big fan of incense. I should get some for my my office here. Lord Captain. Hello, sir. Alright, so that was me just kind of like doing a little blessing of the machine spirit, I think. Let's go make sure that the helmsman doesn't have anything to say. Might as well, since we basically spent most of the episode talking to people. No, okay. Very good. Alright, let's go ahead and hit the, wait, we forgot about this guy. I can't talk to him. Let's hit the map and see if, we can do a little bit of exploration before we wrap this episode up. This episode's definitely been a whole lot of talking to our companions. That's actually good. It saved my voice, because my voice was feeling a little tired today. Map of the Expanse. Now, we do have some, extractors now. We only have 3, though. I wonder, are we going to get enough to extract, like, everything? Alright, so can we see the next quest we have to go to? What are those planets called? Kiavagama and the others. So, Kranich and Mundus Valancius. Do we see Kranich or Mundus Valancia? There's Mundus Nullius. Nameless Star, Forgotten Twins. To the Imperium. No, we don't see anything like that yet. What was I gonna do? We could always go back to Footfall too. I actually wouldn't mind doing that. There's something I was gonna do. I forgot though. I got distracted. Oh well. Okay. Let's go ahead. Do we want to go to Pulvis Platinum or Silence of Mercergret? Mercergret. Let's go to Pulvis Platinum. And we're gonna take the unsafe route here. Damn it. The tranquility of the warp jump was disturbed by reports of frightening sounds and visions that descended upon the crew. Hundreds of people reported knocking and screaming behind the bulkheads of the vessels. The sound of nails scratching against the hull and the elongated Eldari-like shadows thrashing about the long passageways. The phenomena were most prominent in the far corner of the office deck, where the new Lord Captain's companion, named Urliette, has made her home. Oh, great. The ship left the hostile Immaterium and returned to real space. Okay, so that's kind of telling us she's got something going on with her. Or the arch-enemy's watching her. Colony Foulstone has begun a new stage of development. Oh, nice. Where's that at? Right here? Lord Captain, there is conflict between the followers of the Order of the Hammer and the refugees from the Winterscale Dynasty's domain. An argument broke out near the tomb of the ascetic Nicomedes Cephas. In the tomb was damaged in the fray. The pilgrims revering Cephas's rival, Philoppiminus of Malpi, I don't know, claim Cephas to be a thief who had stolen the relics of Saint Cognatius and disturbed the sacrament of his resting place to sate his greed. The Order of the Hammer is furious at the heretical statements and the desecration of the ascetic's burial site. Okay, so we had decided to sort of glorify the Emperor here because we wanted to have less conflict with the Hammer. Who is this Nicomedes and Philoppimenes? What is the issue here? Saint Nicomedes Cephas is a missionary who arrived in the Expanse alongside the founders of the Order of the Hammer, offering them valuable guidance for colonizing Foulstone. He converted many worlds to the Imperial Creed, but his most famous feat was his search for the burial site of the legendary preacher Saint Cognatius, who conquered the Expanse thousands of years ago, leaving behind a scores of relics. Cephas was able to track down some of those relics. The order was named after the power hammer of Saint Cognatius' pious charge. I want that power hammer. Philoppimenes of Malpi is a priest from the Winterscale domain. He preached in the same times as Nicomedes Cephas and denounced him for the false veneration of Saint Cognatius. Fuck these names, dude. God damn it. He believed that Cognatius preached the incomprehensibility of the highest wisdom to the people, and that any attempts to learn it would only lead to heresy. He called the search for Saint Cognatius' burial site blasphemy, and a collection of relics looting and soliciting, in his opinion. The sacred objects should not be congregated in one place, but should find haven across the many worlds. The relics are power, and their aggregation gives way to pride. Alright, what say my advisors? By coming to a foreign realm, the Malpians are demonstrating their insolence. Penance should be imposed on them. We will send them on a pilgrimage to find the relics of Saint Cognatius and to learn the ways of Saint Cephas. In this way, they would be of use for returning the lost relics, and the Order of the Hammer would be satisfied with a just verdict. There was a similar case of belief dispute at the 5th Ophelian Cathedral, and the conflict between the two cults was resolved in sacred duel. 20 champions from each side came forward, both sides vowing to accept the victor's teachings if they lost. I proposed to invoke the cathedral's edict and settle the dispute in the same way. They believe that their faith is superior? Then let them prove it. Subject them to a severe test of faith. If they survive it, they will have proven their steadfastness, even if the Order of the Hammer does not accept their arguments. It would be easier for them to recognize the newcomer's right to interpret the way of Saint Cognatius if they prove it, and their own blood and pain. With their own blood and pain. I kind of like Heinrich's idea. Let's see what else we got. Heinrich is right. Let us send the most zealous ones on a repentant pilgrimage to retrieve the relics. We should follow the edict of the 5th Ophelian Cathedral. Let might decide whose beliefs are just. Let them bring forth their representatives and try to negotiate some form of coexistence, We shall allow the Malpians to prove the strength of their convictions through severe trial of faith. The Malpians display impressive zeal. I charge the Order of the Hammer to welcome 100 of the new rivals into their ranks. Let them learn one another's ways and come to accept their distinct path toward the reverence of Cagnadius. Yeah, I like... So, my mission with this planet is to preserve the separate identity of the refugees and the Hammer, unless they consensually, without me having to convince them, basically, come to an arrangement where they sort of start to coexist. That's my goal. Whether or not it's possible, I don't know. But here we have the Hammer would not be happy if we do anything that's not get rid of these guys. I think, you know, this last one might be sort of a push towards coexistence, which is kind of what I'm aiming for. But again, I kind of want them to have sort of a bit of a almost like a self-determination. I know they can still like choose to disregard what I say, but as the rogue trader I have a certain level of influence. I guess that begs the question, is it self-determination still if you are taking advice from somebody? I don't know. Probably, right? Hyrix is right. Let us send the most zealous ones on a repentant pilgrimage to retrieve the relics. They will not cause us any more trouble. Several thousand refugees have been sent on a pilgrimage of a penance to search for the relics of St. Cagnadius. Many believe that it was just a way to get rid of these inconvenient people. The Order of the Hammer thanked the Lord Captain for their protection and staying true to their agreements. Yeah, see? We made an agreement with them, right? So we got security +1, profit factor up 2 with a whole bunch of holy gift trophies. I like it. And now we can go on to the next stage. So, rank 2. So, we got touched by holiness, indulgences for sale, and that's it. Okay. St. Cagnadius left behind many treasures that are now coveted by powerful men and women. Rogue trader Incendia Corda possesses the shards of a priceless combi tool bearing the saint's fingerprints. Formally reclaiming the relic via the Adeptus Administratum will be a bureaucratic war requiring influential allies and nothing short of an army of clerks and scribes. But if it is passed into the safekeeping of monks of the Order of the Hammer, it will be a great triumph for the faithful. Complacency +2, and profit factor needs to be greater than or equal to 20. Okay. What's complacency do again? Amount of profit factor produced by the colony and the speed of projects in the colony increasing and decreasing by 10% for each point of complacency, respectively. Okay. So we get more profit factor, but the speed goes down of my constructions. Okay. Indulgences for sale. That's always fun, isn't it? Selling the forgiveness of the ecclesiarchy can be a significant source of revenue. Profit factor +1 and 2,000 RP. I do like the reputation. It's not very honorable, though, is it? We're gonna go with touched by the holiness. I do think the other one was probably objectively better, but we'll be okay. We'll survive. Okay. So yeah, we didn't find any new planets here. It looks like this might be like a dead-end route here. That's okay. Let's go and visit this place. Master Helmsman Raver. Lord Captain, the Vox systems intercepted a distress signal coming from an Imperial vessel. The system contains a ship that belonged to the planetary fleet of Dargonus, the capital of the Von Valancius dynasty. The transmission is repeated at regular intervals, but the message itself is corrupted. A cacophony of requests for help, groans and shouts. What in the world? It is your name that they are shouting, Lord Captain. That's not good, is it? Gutted void ship there, space dust, a lot of space dust, and a planet. Alright. We'll get to the void ship last, I think. It's gonna get all this fuel. Yeah. Take all of it. Is this just like an asteroid? This is a planetoid with plasteel 4. Yeah, sure, system. We need to stop by the other planets we've passed by and put the extractor down for those two. More fuel, please. Alright. Begin the scan. Gutted void ship. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna keep the same party. I don't know. I kind of want to bring Argenta instead of Earliet. Earliet's really good though. But I'm a sniper. I'm the best sniper. You know what? We've just got Earliet, so we're gonna keep her for a little longer. I don't know if we're gonna keep her much longer. I don't know. We do need to switch them out often. So I'm wondering where we're gonna get that, because on the cover art of the game, they've got that and I guess I use it for my thumbnail too. But you have the one character with the big red beard. I wonder when we're gonna get him. Oh boy, this looks like a thing. And with that, I think we're actually gonna end the episode right here, guys, as we stare at these dead bodies like the insane people we are. Because we play video games with a whole bunch of dead bodies and we just love it. The gore, it's great. Anyway, now that I've just outed myself as a psycho. Until the next episode, I hope you all have a wonderful day. And I'll catch you later.